Hello, Paul Johnson for Film Obsessive. Today I'm with Bruno Ankovic. He is director of the feature film Celebration. It had its world premiere last summer at the 2024 Karlovy Vary International Film Festival. Then it won four major awards at the 2024 Pula Summer Film Festival. Bruno, welcome and congratulations on your film.
Thank you very much and happy to be here. Thank you.
Let me have you start a little bit just by telling our viewers and readers a little bit about what your film Celebration is and does.
Yeah, it's an adaptation of a novel. The same title of the novel is Celebration. Is Damir Karakash, very known novel in the region, in ex-Yugoslavia region. It's very contemporary novel. I think it's published. It was published in 2019 or something. And when I first read the novel, I was extremely impressed in its, let's say, clear and indirect history of our Balkans region, but not only about Balkans region, but Eastern European region, let's say. And it's the film is very similar to a novel. The novel is, by the way, published in USA. I think maybe this summer also, so you can get it somewhere around you. Okay, and it's very similar. So through elliptical structure of four different episodes, we are following the life of the main character, our protagonist, and I should also say antagonist, Mio, and we are in a way trying to understand why did he become a fascist soldier at the end, so we are starting the movie as the novel. We are starting the movie. He's hiding in the forests. It's the end of the Second World War. We have a new regime now in ex-Yugoslavia. It was communist regime. We have partisans in the village. They are looking for them, the ex-Ustasha, ex-Nazi soldiers. And there was no real judgment. It was just killing all around. So the movie is, let's say, about how it's possible that a young man fall into this right-wing extreme ideology, and it is about the past. But I think, and that's why we did a movie. We are thinking the world didn't really change in the last 100 years, so we can see all around us new extreme ideologies rising and wars and everything. But it's also a movie about our history, let's say, our Balkan Yugoslav history, about people living in that village. So this is some kind of mixture. I always say that we did this movie for our kids, to be smarter and clever than us, let's say, because our fathers and our grandfathers were fascist soldiers in a way. You have to understand. I don't think that probably your viewers want to know that Croatia was a Nazi puppet state in the Second
Yeah.
World War. This is an important history lesson. So
Mhm.
it was a Nazi puppet state, and after as I said already, after the Second World War, we had communism and Yugoslavia, and we didn't really think about was it possible. We judged all people. We said, okay, they were fascist. We don't like them, etc., etc. But we really didn't find a way to understand how is that possible. So I think that this is a time maybe for that.
There were thousands of young men like Miho, I assume, who willingly joined that cause, uh, desperate for the independence and freedom it offered, but really unwilling to think through uh, or deal fully with the consequences of what their actions would be.
Yeah, I don't think that they really understood what's going on. If we are talking about, let's say, we always, as I said, it is a history movie. But we were during shooting and now interviews and everything. Everybody asked me who is Mio today, and I always say maybe he's some Russian soldier who is now fighting in Ukrainian war, for Russia, and he's probably from some village. I don't know how much do you know Russia. I worked a lot there. There is, of course, big cities like Moscow, but if you go from Moscow maybe 10 miles, you will find small villages, very poor people, socially poor of education, and those soldiers which are now fighting in Ukraine are probably those guys which are fighting for Russia because the regime, Putin's regime, told them, okay, you have to fight for our freedom, for freedom of our people, Ukraine, for future, for better future for Russia. And he's probably going there even because of some payment or something, so or he can get some food. Let's say in the movie, it's about the food, about the as you said, the idea of a new country and better future. But of course, it's a totally mistaken ideology. Yeah.
And as an American, it was hard for me not to think of the prospect of a young man being, told by media celebrities, influencers, etc., that he's oppressed and, falling under the wing of a militia, perhaps, that's planning an uprising of sorts. It is a theme, really, in a situation that's uh, grounded in the past, but not limited to the past, if you will. Oh, and I wanted to mention too, the novel Celebration is available, at least to me, it was on Kindle, so I was able to read the ebook and enjoyed it very much. It also must have presented some challenges to you as a filmmaker, since that, so much of it is told and filtered through his perspective, in a way that just lets the author of the story say certain things that film language doesn't have the same immediate kind of access to. And I'm just wondering, as a director, what unnerved you a little bit about making an adaptation of the novel Celebration?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It's a small novel.
Mhm.
It doesn't have a lot of how to say things going on. It's like it's really not, and it's all in the retrospective of a man which is hiding in the forest and thinking about the past. So it's very it's very lyric, let's say. It's very, there are not, there is no much of dialogues, and it's only 4 days in a life, so we had to, it was really a challenge for us because we wanted to be as close to a novel as possible, of course in a different media, which is movie, but we wanted to somehow really put this novel onto the screen, so this was challenging. At the end, we need to find a key how to do it because it's very lyric. So what we decided to do is go with this very, we called it controlled documentary, let's say. So what we really wanted to do is be there with actors, just to the viewer, maybe to feel it more like a documentary than a narrative. Of course, it's a narrative, but we used vintage lenses from the 70s, to go to this poetic way of cinematography of, let's say, Taviani brothers in Italian neorealism, and we also we didn't use a lot of really, really in small amount of lightning, because we wanted to be very documentary. Let's say we use lighting only when it was really necessary because of technical reasons, and for us, the nature was very important, the nature, the sound of the nature, the people living there, that small village, big mountain around him, a forest. So everything that he had really poetically in a book, in a novel, we tried to put it on the screen. I probably think that we managed, probably because of the critics say that we did, but that was maybe the biggest how to say, not a problem, but you understand me, So this was maybe yeah.
I do, and I'm interested in talking about the production a little bit. In some ways, it also strikes me as a war film, but a war film without combat, in that the battles have largely either been fought in the past or they are about to be enjoined soon. Um, Watching what unfolds on screen, it seems to me so realistic and so challenging for your protagonist to be hiding where he is in the forest. He's clearly been ravaged by the effects of war. Um, it could not have been an easy shoot.
It wasn't. It was a low budget movie for start. because we shoot it during the pandemic of Corona, and we found our movies in Europe, especially in small countries of Europe, from foundations, different funds, and because of Corona, everything stopped. So we got our funding from Croatia and some Slovenian money, and then we decided to shoot it with that money because the inflation arose. So it was a decision to do that. At the other side, it was very heavy because we shoot it really in these mountain areas, uh, and it was very the winter shoot was like I think minus 70 Celsius, so it was really really cold, and the summer was like 40 degrees Celsius, so it was really hot. So it's extreme nature there and extreme shooting because of that, and because we didn't have enough money, of course. But then we decided, this is why also we decided maybe to release some lightning, to be there, to have a small crew, not a big crew, to have a small crew. And what was really in a way good for our budget, but it's very, how to say, maybe very sad in reality, is that we really found those villages which people are living in today. It is like an hour away from highway from Zagreb, which is a capital city of Croatia, and people are still living there without electricity, without internet, in those houses which were built like 100 years ago, in the conditions like 100 years ago. It is sad, because those are really remote parts of the country. But it was also very interesting for us and for the actors, because we had this we didn't know how to put the actors in this mind of people from the 100 years ago, like in the past, how to grab this past, how to make them feel like the people. But then what we found out is that people there are living still like that, and what we decided is just to live with them. So the main actor was living in this village for maybe a month, just to feel the village, to understand the main actors also. So this was the way, some kind of a method, let's say, in acting, in the way how they really feel that characters and that nature and that village and everything. But this was maybe as for shooting, and the problem was also because we shoot it in three different periods, so we had to make a pause for 2 or 3 months, because there is four periods in a movie:
Right. By
winters,
that you mean the four different time periods, and
time
they and
periods.
they
Yeah,
necessitate even different cast members or different actors
yeah, yeah,
playing
yeah.
the protagonist, Miho, etc.
Yeah. Like also that, and the main character, he was really at the end, he lost I think 15 kilos because of this first part of the shooting with winter. Was not winter but spring, when this is like after the war. So he needs to lose weight, and he was a normal guy, so he just need to lose a lot of weight. And he didn't shave for maybe a month. I don't know, not a month, 6 months, let's say. So he was really preparing for this for
There's
this
there's a
job.
couple shots in the film that I want to ask you about. One scene in particular that takes place in the valley as Mio, his woman Drenka, her brother begin to join this large party that is headed towards the celebration of Croatian independence that's going to lead to their fascist state. It takes place across a long valley. There must be scores of extras joining in. It was a stunning shot, but that must have been complex to get your crew to that place, and
Yeah.
to get all of the extras in place and managed the way that you had.
Yeah, it's really remote, this place. It doesn't have any road next to it. So we had some, I think maybe a kilometer and a half. There was a road, so they came with the buses, and the extras came from Zagreb, because this part is really rural, and some people came from those villages, but they don't really like to be in a movie, and they don't really understand it. So we brought like really professional extras from Zagreb, and it wasn't easy. We had in on budget 1 day for that, so it was very important for us that day would be, sunny. This is important because it's spring, and it was important for us that we managed to do it in 1 day. There are two scenes which are happening. One with the gypsies, and then this with a lot of extras and everything. So it was maybe the most complicated in that way shot, but it was far away. The road was far away, but the road on the other locations was even far more. So it was the other. There are some locations in the mountains in which we had to walk maybe for half an hour from the road, the whole crew with the camera and everything, just to be possible to shoot there. But as I said, it was a small crew, maybe 30, 40 people in a crew, so it was possible to do it. That nobody really argues and says, "I won't do it" or something. We were a small family. We were a small
The
family.
other The other thing I wanted to ask you about in the film was the use of the archival documentary footage near the end. I mean, not to give away a spoiler of the film, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting transition. You move into it, and suddenly you feel a little bit like you're watching Triumph of the Will almost, though not as regimented and organized. But I just wanted to ask you about accessing and locating and using that kind of footage for the purposes you are at the end of the film.
Yeah. We didn't know while we were writing a script. We didn't know that will be the end.
Hmm.
What was that material for us was interesting. Just we tried to find a lot of material for that period, and those are really celebrations. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And uh, we wanted to find it and to show it again to the actors and to us, to the costumography, scenography, just to understand the period, just to as a showcase of that period, just to find out. But when I saw it for the first time, I remember it was it's in Belgrade, in this archive, which is in Belgrade. It was ex-Yugoslavian archive, so still some movies are in Belgrade. When I saw it there, I was crying. I was crying because I saw how young people, village people, they are cheering as the Beatles came, or I don't know who. They're like they really don't know what's going on. You see on that faces that they really don't see ideology. They don't see the war which is coming. They don't see that this is the worst moment of their lives, and they're cheering and they're happy, And when I saw it for the first time, then we decided, okay, there is no, how to say, there is no feature narrative which you can shoot, which will be horrifying like documentary, let's say. And no, but nothing is really going on in there, There is no blood there either. This is like the whole movie, as you said. There's no blood. This blood is in the veins. It's in the it's coming from outside. So nothing is really. They're very happy. You have a lot of shots of happy young people cheering to this Nazi regime, and I was crying because of that. And in Carlo Vivari, I had an interview like this with some French journalist, and she came to me after the movie and she brought me footage of Marine Le Pen's victory on the first it was, I think, 2 days after the first elections in France, and Le Pen won the first, not the second, but the first one. And she brought me footage of young people cheering in French flags and waving and cheering and everything. She said, "Okay, this is your protagonist and antagonist today in France." And it's really the similar thing. Those kids that don't really understand what's going on, but they are happy as I don't know who's today, Beatles, but
No, I understand completely. And
yeah,
we're conducting this interview on the on a sobering anniversary here in the United States of
Mm.
literally an attempt to overthrow the government that's been,
Yeah,
attempted. The right wing is attempting to rewrite history in several ways. That was not a youth movement, but it was a violent attempt at overthrow. And a devastating moment in our country's history. So I am sympathetic in that, that I can't say I cried, but I
no, no,
did feel what you were working towards with that footage and just the sobering reflection that this is a movement that wasn't limited to this one guy in a forest, but this is something taking place all over your country,
yeah,
and is not limited to that specific historical moment.
yeah, yeah.
So
You
I
can.
wanted to ask too, oh, go ahead.
No, no, after these celebrations of Nazi, we had celebrations of communism, so this was a new regime, and it was really awful also. So it's always this part of the world. It's always some kind of. This is a movie also about that, this circle of history which is repeating this in this patriarchal, let's say, area.
What's next for the film? Is it continuing its festival run,
It's
looking ahead to
continuing it, yeah.
distribution?
It's continuing his festival. We were like maybe 20 days ago in Washington in this American Film Institute, AFI, I think
Mhm.
it's a showcase of European Union films, and they show like 30 or 40 best, as they say, best Europe movies, best in Europe cinema, let's say. So it was not maybe 20 days ago. Today and tomorrow, I think that we are in Haifa Film Festival in Israel. And after that, I have to ask that it's going on. I think that after Karlovy we had maybe 25 festivals all around the world,
Wow.
and it's still going on. So I'm not sure which is the next one. I have to ask my producers not to be wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations to you on its successes so far, Bruno, and best of wishes for its continued run. I hope it finds as wide an audience as possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Paul.
And thank you for joining us at Film Obsessive today.
Thank you, and sorry for my English. Sorry for my English. Thank you.
Your English is beautiful.
Sorry.